here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Can We Just Make a Robot That Has Two Modes favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Iron Factory's Sixshot, which is named something I will look at. Shaow Tengu. I don't want to butcher that too much. So, this is all known to me from Robert D., a dear friend and a huge Legends fan. So as a result, I've been able to look at some of these Legends recently, and I do appreciate that because I've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying thank you for finally reviewing Legends figures. I've been, curious about what you think about them, and while I am flattered, I am also grateful and appreciative to have the opportunity. Let's move forward. So as you can see, he comes with a fair bit of accessories. He's using all of them at the moment. There are a couple different places to kind of utilize them throughout the modes, and we'll kind of tackle that as we get to it. But we'll talk about them now. Alright, so as you can see, he comes with two swords. And they're nice. They have the black paint, it looks like anyway, on the bottom, and then this chrome finish, which does look good. And he comes with two of those. As you can see, he holds them both just fine. I will note that, you can peg these in different places, and we'll do that along the way. But there is some of this black chipping, which makes me definitely confirm that it is painted on top of the chrome, which does give a good looking sword, so let's give him a break, alright? We'll set that aside. We have two signature guns, single cast, and you can use these, like I had these plugged into his wings on the back, and you can also use the handles. Decent sculpt, I might say. Hollow. Like they're taking a little shortcut there, but for all that this figure kind of includes, we're going to give that a pass as well. And then these, which are mainly used for alt modes, but as you can see, I had them plugged into the bottom of his legs, and I believe he can hold them. Let me double check that real quick. He most certainly can, so that's not a problem either if that's the way that you want to go. It also seems to have a finish on it, which is nice, but I will say that these pieces here are a little thin, so this is a tight connection, once again, probably due to the paint, so just use caution when manipulating. Definitely grab by the base, so to speak, and not by the tip, so to speak, because I think you could put enough torque on here where you could damage this plastic. So let's try to be safe. So let's talk about them. Once again, they nail the head sculpt. Iron Factory really has a knack of nailing that IDW look and that I don't know, that kind of modern but sleek aesthetic. I think they did a great job. Red paint on the eyes, and this time it's sharp as a tack, unlike the blur where it kind of got out of the lines, but I was still okay with ultimately. Yeah, these you can kind of, I'm not sure what the official way is. I guess I could look at the picture, but why bother, right? Because I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions. But these you can turn around and you can have them angled whichever way you want. It's mainly due to transformation, but it can also be for your personal preference for display. The chest, fairly plain. We do have this silver paint on here, and then the wings, they went the extra mile and put the silver and the purple on there, so that's good. And of course, in typical Sixshot fashion, you can fold these back if you prefer that look. However, I will say that this pin is a little snug in there, and once again, I can see torque issues if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. The shoulders are a pain, and it'll probably cause me problems in a few minutes when we get to transformation, but let's leave that be for now. It has this joint here which swivels, and that puts the shoulder in a different place. It doesn't really help a whole lot with articulation, but I guess in theory it could help push something a certain way to get clearance to move it in a certain direction. I'm not entirely sure, but the option is available to you. It's basically a universal joint with the hinge inside of the shoulder here to get it out to there, and then the swivel all the way around. So articulation wise, you shouldn't have much of an issue. You got a little bit of a shoulder pad knocking up against his head, but it's to be expected with the character. Paint wise, we have the silver on the wheel and then this gunmetal on the tracks. I'm not going to repeat that when we get to different modes. We could just kind of knock it off the list now. Bicep swivel and a single hinged elbow, getting you basically the full range, so that's pretty impressive as well. Nothing for the wrist. Same for the other side. On the back, you do have these. These just come down, and you can move them out to the side so you can get that look if that's your thing. Sixshot's always been one of those characters where I think when people had the G1, they kind of got used to having him look a certain way, and they just sort of go with it from then on out, regardless of what the official way may be, due to the wings and the wings on the chest, I think, mainly. All right, so we have a waist swivel, which is nice. No problems there. We have the silver paint there and white paint there. T-jointed ball joints for hips, which, let's see how we're doing here. I'd say that's full Van Damme and full Monty. Thigh swivel, separate piece. That works fine. It's a little snug, but I think we should give him credit. Silver down here at the bottom is that gunmetal silver is painted and it looks good. We basically have a double jointed knee, but it's because the joint moves both ways. But for articulation purposes, you get pretty much the complete range on one pin. It does destroy the sculpt, but it's a Legends class figure. Let's be a little lenient, gents. And then we have silver and red paint down here. We have this lighter shade of like this purplish blue down here. And then on these bits, we have the silver paint. And then ankles, we got basically nothing but a toe tilt. So that's a bit of a bummer. That causes issues. I do like that Iron Factory has been fairly decent about their ankle articulation. I think that ankle articulation is one of the most important aspects of articulation, and it's a little bit of a bummer to see that that's done. However, it does have to switch to 6 modes, so you know, this is a case where I may not be as critical because, one, it's a Legends class figure, and 2, it has to go to 6 different modes. You know, and then a lot of times those modes are just kind of compiled shapes, but I think they should still get credit. And speaking of those modes, so let's get it transformed. Look, there's a fair chance I might screw some of this up, okay? It's in my possession for a very limited amount of time. It's 6 modes to kind of learn. There's a couple things that can cause issues that the instructions do a pretty good job of, I might add. One of them being this joint here that swivels on the shoulders, and the other being this waist that kind of moves back and forth. So, look, I'm going to do my best, all right? Don't give me a whole bunch of grief. You know what happened to the last person brought me a whole bunch of grief?
I disagreed with them back in '96.
Quiet, you.
Just kidding. That's my good friend Philip. He's here today. Say hello, Philip.
Hi.
He's part of the Nerd Rage crew. He's been helping us out over there, and he's kind of just hanging out with me for the day. I got a couple reviews to get through and a couple other kind of errands to run and jobs to accomplish. The to-do list. It's a baffling document. Let's get him transformed. So you got to get the head away, and the head stays away for pretty much everything. So grab the wolf head and pull the head out, and then fold the head in, and then put that there, and then you can fold the head down, the wolf head down. And then this we have to open up, typical third-party hand movement, and we rotate the hand in. As you rotate the hand in, it rotates the paws, dog paws, out. That's a funny story. If you ever see me at a con or something, tell me to tell you that story about the dog paws. We'll lock that in there, and then we're just going to fold this down. Now, you can fold it down either way. That's another one of those things. It's just, you know, whatever feels right to you. I'm sure there's an official way, but do we have time to check every little thing? I think not. Let's fold this one out, keep the dog paws out, and then we'll fold them down, and we'll keep it consistent. We'll fold these pieces in. Once again, be careful. Use caution. And we're going to rotate the arms around, and we're going to kind of line up the wheels so that the wheels are, let's see here, up, I believe. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see how that does. I'll clean it up. You know, it's just give you the basic idea. I don't know. And then fold the feet in and tab this together. And fold this down and this down, and then I think, I don't know, they have it going the other way. How's that possible? They have the wheels on the outside. Let me take a look real quick. Okay, so basically I had it right. It looked different in the instructions to me. I had to sort it out. The only thing I didn't do is you got to keep the feet. This connection, by the way, is a little loose, but you got to keep the feet at an angle where you can plug these guns into the bottom of it, and then you just sort of have to, you know, adjust it. And it's, you know, it's like a lot of Sixshot stuff that we've seen throughout history. That's a little obnoxious, isn't it? But it's you know, it's gun-ish, and I think for what it's supposed to be, you know, it does its job fairly well. This down here, it does plug in, as you see, but I wonder, I may take a look. If I do take a look, I'll cut it in here. I just wonder if some of the combiners could hold this, you know, some of the larger scale combiners. All right, so I know that's pretty dark, but that's TFC's Prometheus. He holds it with no problem. And that's one of the smaller scale combiners, so I would have no problem assuming that this fella could as well. So that's a little added bonus. I think that actually Sixshot might be worth picking up in this scale if you just to display him, like if you had Bruticus, maybe like the Toyworld Bruticus is coming holding him or something like that. That would be pretty cool. So for beast mode, we're going to make sure that this T-joint, which did get spun around on me anyway, but we're going to make sure that this is to the back, like towards the wings, as it were, and we're going to bring the paws, dog paws, down. We're going to open these up, and we're going to fold these back, and we're going to bring the wolf head out and around, and we're going to position this so that it makes anatomic sense for the paws, dog paws. And let's see what else. And then we're just going to this piece. This piece here is like, it makes me feel nervous doing it, but like it comes in there and you see, and this is the piece that comes down, and it just always makes that dreadful noise when you do it. And then you have you know, I think this is it. I think this is wolf mode. So once again, the wheels, you can kind of do them however you feel is appropriate, but I believe that this is accurate. So I'll get him cleaned up. We'll take a look at him. All right, so here he is. The one thing I didn't mention is moving these up. They're just sitting down. You just put them up. And yeah, I think that this looks good. I mean, for what it is, of course. The jaw does open and close. Red eyes, painted on. Nothing really, you know, articulation-wise, you get the knee. And you get the same ball joint at the hip. And then the shoulders do go out to about there. And then you get the same arm articulation. And then you get a pretty much an ankle tilt on the dog paws. And other than that, it looks, I mean, you know, it never really looks good, you know what I mean? But it looks, I think it looks as good as one would imagine it would look. So let's go to, I guess it's tank mode. And we're going to pull these down. We're going to get the wings out of the way. We're going to fold the head. Actually, we'll leave the head up for now because I think that it'll give us a little bit more clearance. We're just going to move all this out of the way. Now, the instructions show to slide the pelvis back, but this one is not budging, and I'm not comfortable giving the force to do so. So we're going to leave it be and just do our best. And we're going to fold the dog paws, and we're going to kind of get this you know, these wheels come down in the front, and we want the tracks to sort of align. And then we're going to fold this back onto itself. I think. Do you have to open this? I don't think so. Straighten that reverse knee joint out. And see, like that, it's like it makes me nervous. I don't know. And then we'll clip these together. And then you fold the wings back. Now that may be where it causes us problems for the figure not having. No, I think it works fairly well. And these probably come down, and I'll get it cleaned up, and we'll take a look. Oh shoot! I should have flipped it back. There we go. So I'll arm it up. We'll take a look at it. So there it is, and you know, no wheels or anything, obviously. And I'm not sure that this is right because it does show about this pelvis movement, and I can't really seem to get this one to budge. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but we're just gonna leave it be. And I guess you could fold this up. And yeah, I mean, these will swivel here. I'll tell you, the connection is not the best, but you could swivel them and then pose it, and then these can swivel here. Once again, connection is not the best. Like that, and then you can also articulate this if you want to, and do it. And I think it's fair enough. And then there's a Tiger Tracks comparison because tradition. So then we're going to open it up. We're going to go to car mode. You want these shoulder joints facing the top, which isn't necessarily the easiest, and I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes, to be honest with you, but we'll get to the bottom of it either way. Obviously, you want the wheels down now. See, a lot of this is fairly intuitive because you just know that a car needs wheels. And we'll get these out of the way. We'll bring these down. We'll open this up here. And then we need to collapse them and just get yourself the clearance. Do yourself a favor every once in a while. Do you know what I mean? Make it easy on yourself. Come on. And peg together. And then I wonder, yeah, then, no, you don't use this for vehicle mode, do you? Let me make sure. Nope, you leave it out to the side. And then you close this up on the bottom. You bring the arms down. The position of these shoulder joints helps get you the clearance to keep the arms down by the side. We'll do this, we'll do this. I'll arm them up, we'll be back. Now, of course, you're not supposed to arm it up, but you can. And if this is all straightened out and you take time and care, it will roll. Mine is like, you know, not 100% squared up, but time is working against me at the moment, and I wanted to take a look at this fella. If you guys don't know, it snowed here today, and it delayed schools and everything, and as a result, it's kind of screwed up my my schedule. But I think it does a good enough job of trying to do this car mode. You know, has wheels and has a windshield, which is pretty much consistent with what makes a Sixshot a car. So yeah, good enough. Okay, before we go to jet mode, I do want to say I see these flaps here. I'm guessing that these are supposed to come down in vehicle mode. Not 100% sure. Moving forward, we got to go to jet mode. Very easy. Close those up there. Bring these wings out. I always have a problem staying oriented with jet mode on Sixshot because it always seems like this should be the top, but it's not. So use these wings here to kind of orient yourself so that you know that this has to be the top. You can get these wings out of the way for now because we need to get these arms situated. And what we want here is we want the turquoise side facing up and we want the tracks facing out. So once again, turquoise side up, tracks out. Spread the wings. So see, and you know what? As a matter of fact, dude, spread your wings too. Do you know what I mean? Spread your wings too. So I'll get them armed up. We'll take a look at them. And here is jet mode all armored up. I put these guns here on the side, and then these actually clip on to this piece here. And I think that once again, much like Hanzo, jet mode is really successful. I don't know what it is about jet mode for me, but I don't know if it's the shape seems more jet-ish than some of the other shapes. But I tend to like it. Smee will go lay down. My dog is insane. He's carrying around a stuffed dolphin. That's a fact. So yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. There's a quick size comparison. Once again, kind of showing that the Iron Factories really only work with other Iron Factories. Because when you start to put them with the other Legends class, they start to seem a little too small. Like Blaster looks too small to Power Glide, and Sixshot looks too small to Power Glide. But Sixshot and Blaster look pretty good together. And I'll tell you, not for nothing, that having the Sixshot, Overlord, and what's the other one? Philip Sky Shadow? Is it Sky?
Yeah, Sky Shadow.
And Sky Shadow together from Iron Factory probably looks amazing, I would imagine. Sky Shadow is really good, and so is their Overlord. So it would, you know, it's nice to have those three together anyway, but I would imagine that DX9, I'm sorry, not DX9, but Iron Factories look really good together. I wish I had the other two, I would show you, but unfortunately I do not. Final thoughts wise, here are the negatives. The ankle rocker is a big pain, and then the other negative is kind of it's hard to keep track of those shoulder joints as you're manipulating stuff around. Some of the tolerances there are a bit tight, and they're supposed to be in a certain position, and you know they're ultimately not. But in my opinion, it doesn't really get in the way. It's just not quote unquote like the official transformation. And the only other issue I have are some of the guns and weapons don't really fit into the other places as securely as you would like. Some of them are a bit too tight, some of them are a bit too loose. Case in point is, you know, these two end up being usually a bit too tight across the board, and then those two end up being a bit too loose kind of across the board. But it's nothing that can't be sorted out, especially for a display, so I don't really hold it against them. It's just worth noting. But positives wise, sculpt is great. There's plenty of paint. The materials feel Iron Factory-ish, so the plastic is good and all that sort of thing. It has a strong presence. I love the accessories, and the alt modes are obviously, you know, they're a bit weak, but I think it's forgivable, right? Like, I'm usually more forgiving of alt modes anyway, but especially of a Legends class figure that turns into 6 things, I think that it's much closer than I would ever imagine them being. So I think that we should really take that into consideration. So the question being, do I recommend this? The answer is absolutely. If you're a Legends collector, if you're a Sixshot fan, shout out to Bobby in Jersey. And if you're a, just a cool Transformer fan or a third-party fan, definitely recommend it. There's nothing bad enough about this to say not get it. In fact, most of it is good. So thanks to Robert D. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.